How's it going, everyone? On today's dive, we're heading over to Bowen Island to do a large trash cleanup, and I think this dive is going to have more freedivers than I've ever had out before. All right, so we got to Bowen. This viz here is absolutely beautiful. It's probably going to be 30 feet plus. It's hard to tell the reflection, but it's like crystal clear all the way to the bottom. I'm like super excited for this. Visibility is great, and we're going to mess it up by pulling all the trash out. So let's meet up with the crew, and we'll get right into it. For those that are new to this channel, a large part of what I do is dive in places that many people would never even think about. And the reason is because a lot of these areas are full of trash, and we want to get that out of the water to prevent contaminations from leaching into it. The reason that most people have never dove in a spot like this is because there really isn't anything fun or cool to see. What there is, though, is a lot of trash. And what we do is get together in these groups and pull this trash out of our waterways. It is no secret that our ocean is full of pollutants, such as plastics, heavy metals, and pretty much everything else you can think of. And what my group and I like to do is just clean these areas up. So without further delay, let's get suited up and get in the water and see what we can pull out. A warning, many of these spots you really should not dive and require prior permission from various places before you can dive these areas, because there are certain things that make them unsafe, and one of which is obviously boats. And because we're near a big ferry terminal here, you have to stay far away from the path of the ferry and anywhere around it, because boats of this size can make pretty big washes with their props, and you don't want to be anywhere around it. So please be safe, don't attempt anything like this. We definitely have safety meetings and precautions in place before we jump into the water at locations like this. Something that might surprise most people is that Bowen Island, by just sheer volume of trash in the water, is probably one of the most polluted areas that we ever dive. And I'm not talking about the water itself, because compared to a place like Falls Creek, this water is actually very clean. However, I think a lot of this is just older stuff. Because Bowen Island is a quite small island, there really isn't a large-scale dump that could be used. So what I believe happened is, back in the day, people just throw all their trash right into the ocean. That's why there's such an accumulation of old bottles here.
He's got the bike, but I got the hat. Sorry?
Not all the stuff that we find in the ocean is put there on purpose. Often accidents do happen, such as cell phones. Quite often I find phones next to docks while doing these kind of dives. On this dive, I found one old iPhone, and while we were cleaning up, we actually had someone on the marina beside us ask if we could help find his phone. Something that's been bugging Steve for quite a while now is, during all of our dives together, he has never actually found a phone. So when this guy yelled over to us asking if we could help him find his phone that he dropped a couple days prior, me and Steve raced over there as fast as we could, and lucky enough for Steve, he was actually able to find his first phone.
What color phone is it? He's just never found a phone, so he wants to find a phone. You got it? Nice.
The phone, that's an accident. But just don't litter.
I got an alarm. There you go. Nice.
I have no idea if this one will work or not. The ocean is really hard on the seals because of the salt water. So it may work, it may not. If it was freshwater, I think it would have a lot better chance of working. I might never know here. It's always cool to give someone their phone back, especially when they thought they'd never see it again.
I got a sign. It's like, so I love the like kelp color. I was looking at that planter box.
It's pretty heavy.
Did you get the dirt out of it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's a cool 7-Up bottle.
Oh, interesting.
You want a hand to get it up?
Yeah, sure.
Can you dig all the way out? Or is it all?
That might fuck up the water pretty good.
Fair enough. A wheel. Yeah. But like, look how close this is.
So far so good. I thought I'd take a little break, a bit of a cramp in the calf from pulling that outboard lid off that had a ton of dirt and sand in it. And it was really heavy, so take a break, see how they're doing over there. Let's get back in the water. I turned the volume here down quite a bit, but you can just hear the ferry still. And often you can hear the ferry from probably a kilometer away as it's coming close. Boats this big are extremely loud underwater. And it just speaks to how well sound transmits through the water. And in some busy shipping lanes, it just makes me feel for animals such as whales that rely on sound to communicate. So far, pretty good haul. Look at all the cones. Some nets, random pipes, all these buoys, more nets, plastics, more plastics, tires. Look at all the cans and bottles. So we got numbers of how many pounds. So there was 2 people that were pretty close.
So
2001! Woo!
not quite. So the difference did come down to within 2 pounds between 2 people.
Whoa.
So the total was 1625.
Nice.
So Amy guessed 1600, and yeah, Selena, you got 1647. So you got some ferry passes, car and vehicle from BC Ferries.
Nice.
You got second. And then to be fun, Arabelle, wherever she is. So Arabelle got the farthest.
Oh my god!
Oh wow, fine.
You gotta tell her that. So Arabelle, you were the farthest off, so you get up.
How far off? I should have stuck with my number.
So I do have a bunch of other walk-on ferry vouchers that we So total, these are our totals: 279 bottles, 269 cans, and a ton of random anchors, pumps, a welder hat, shoes, buckets, suitcase. So big thanks to BC Ferries. We had a few more people than we expected, so I gave out the vouchers, did a bit of a draw. Yeah, so that was kind of fun. Then we just gave the rest to kind of whoever wanted them, honestly. The people that use the ferry the most. So BC Ferries, thank you. Thanks for Pacific. They gave us a bunch of drinks and some swag to hang out, or to hand out. It was a good dive. Like I said, 1,625 pounds of trash. And I think we had 16 divers in total, scuba and freediver, and then another 10 plus volunteers on land. So it was super awesome turnout. Thanks everyone for coming out.
I just wanted to give BC Ferries one more big thanks for giving us some vouchers for this. I underestimated how many people were actually coming, so we ended up with about double the volunteers that I thought. So we ended up just doing a bit of a giveaway for all the vouchers instead for people to use on their next journey. In total, we ended up with 25 volunteers, 14 in the water, which is 10 freedivers and 4 scuba divers, and then 11 volunteers that were on shore to help bring the garbage to the collection spot. As well, thank you to Mike with Pacific Pilsner for coming out to bring us some drinks and some swag. That was awesome. Thanks to Immenso for setting me up with his dive gear. These fins are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. As always, thank you to my Patreon supporters. Your support helps out so much. And finally, a big thank you to all the volunteers that came out. Without you, none of this kind of stuff is possible. So thank each and every one of you so much. And I hope to see you on our next dive. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.